herd event with in lane 1 former champions of years ago, but not so recently, Canada. And this women's 8 event will be the second last event. We will go on from this event to the men's final, and Buffy Williams. See some fireworks in that. Buffy Williams in the stroke seat, an Olympic champion, and she is the, I think, the crew maker in that Canadian 8. In lane 2 we have Germany, performed well through this season. Lenka Vech in the 5 seat, 31 years old doctor. She's come back into the scene and a very dominant figure in that crew. Australia in pole position in lane 3. A lot of these athletes doubling up in other boats. And in lane 4, similarly, Romania with the stern pair, or well, the stroke of Doina Ignat and her partner Georgeta Damian from the pair once, and then her present partner Victoria Suzanu in the 2 seat, and in lane 5 the reigning champions, the United States, and outside them Great Britain in lane 6. We've had 2 British gold medals in the last 2 races. I don't think it's so likely in this one, but it's all to play for. These 6 crews racing for 5 Olympic qualifying places. So one of these crews, in spite of making the final here at the World Championships, will not be entitled to, that nation will not be entitled to send a crew to the Olympics unless they qualify through some other source. So a great motivation not to finish last in this race.
A lot of sprinting from the Coxes in the first 5 strokes. Obviously the 8s, the main race for the Coxes, and I'm sure we're going to be picking up some of the various calls as we go down the race course. The Americans pair in shot, only one change from the dominating world champion 8 last year, who were equally dominant in winning the Lucerne World Cup, but with a few different faces in it.
Indeed. Megan Cook was the one who didn't make the crew this year, and then unfortunately, although she was in the pair and hoping for reinstatement in the 8, she was injured or sick and actually dropped out of the pair as well, allowing Portia Johnson out of the 4 to go into the pair. So Portia McGee, I beg your pardon, must acknowledge her married status. United States in front.
Yeah, I think the United States, they do like going out there and dominating. As I said, in their big win at Lucerne this year, although they have got some different faces in the boat, they went out there, they got a little bit of a lead, but it was really the last 500 where they just absolutely unloaded and put almost the best part of the length on the field. It's worth noting that these 8s, they do not pick up a huge amount of speed very quickly. It's a case of, it's a real sprint. It's over in blink of an eye, these 8 races.
It is. You can't change pace, as you say. What is interesting is the United States, having qualified through the repechage, is on lane 5, and that is the advantage of the crew outside them, Great Britain, who now have the benchmark crew to take their pace off. So that will assist them. If they were on the far side of the course, they might find it harder. And there they are, Great Britain, actually holding on to the United States, 1/3 of a length down, but that is holding them in 3rd position now, with on the far side Canada in 2nd position. It's by no means over yet, but it is helpful to be up at this stage.
And Buffy Williams, as I said, stroking the Canadian boat at 40 strokes a minute, which is still high now. They've already gone through 500 metres. They should be finding their normal race pace, a cruising speed, to take them over the rest of this racetrack. But still at 40 strokes a minute, coming up to 750 metres gone. Williams is definitely not letting them let up at all, and they are starting to edge back on the United States, putting them under pressure. 39 strokes a minute now, still right up there, and the US hold only a canvas lead. Very tight across the field there, and a fantastic showing at the moment by Brits over here in lane 6.
Indeed. I mean, there was a moment when Germany seemed to come up on Great Britain, and then they've slipped back a bit, and Australia came up, but those 3 crews are really neck and neck and locked together, and as I said earlier, it's to Great Britain's advantage that they've got the United States inside them and to set the pace for them, and they're still only 1/3 of a length down on the United States. If they can move with them, it'll help them in that final sprint. But this is still a long way to go. We're
coming up to 1,000 meters now.
halfway.
And the US crossing that line first, just ahead of Canada, just ahead in turn of Great Britain, Romania and Australia. Still definitely in the hunt, as are Germany. This is going to be
Germany theoretically last, but by no distance at all. And although we keep saying eights can't change pace, they can change pace from these margins.
I think the US just took a little bit of move there, and they're starting just to stretch out. It's obviously a planned push coming just after the 1,000-meter mark, and they've opened up a gap of maybe 2 seats on the rest of the field. But Great Britain here on this near side in the yellow bows, lane 6, starting maybe to show their hand as Romania start moving as well on the US in the lane next to them. US still lead in lane 5.
If I was sitting in the US boat, I wouldn't be worrying about Britain. I wouldn't even be worrying about Canada. I'd be worrying very much about the Romanian crew, because they are moving.
Absolutely, and so much experience in that boat. The Romanians, historic, so good in the women's program, so good in the women's 8. And in fact, they've done this in the pairs. They had a fairly subdued beginning, and their base speed, their rhythm in the middle section of a race was what brought them through.
There are 6 crews, and there's half a length in this race. It's entire field.
And let's remind all our viewers that whoever finishes last in this extremely tight field will not qualify for the Olympics. It's absolutely...
Anybody bar the United States, and in my view Romania, could finish last and not qualify for the Olympics and still be half a length off a gold medal.
The focus there in your camera shot there of the Great Britain crew. Picot's just Caroline O'Connor looking across to all those crews on the left-hand side and just telling all her women where they are in relation, how they're doing. They're in bronze medal position at the moment, which is a fantastic achievement, but it's the US still out in front of the Romanian crew, but it's tracking very,
Will it be
very
Romania who can make a push, or has the United States got enough? That's the question as we come into the last 500 meters. Romania there, you can see Dona Inyat drawing them up. They're now only a canvas down on the United States. United States picking up the pace, dragging Great Britain with them. And it's those 3 crews that have pulled away from the field by very small margins.
And it's Romania coming up now very, very fast. It's still a canvas lead, which the US have held almost from the first stroke now. But it's Romania at 9, the US at 38. And can they respond here? Coming into 250 meters remaining. The US by less than a canvas now on the Romanians, who are really starting to motor.
The Romanians say it's a small amount every single stroke, but at 40 strokes a minute they've got enough to come through. Can the United States hold it? They're going to have to change pace if they're going to hold off this Romanian charge. Dona Inyat in the stroke seat, so experienced at this level, so often a winner, and they are closing down on the United States. And as they come close to the last 200
still
meters,
got a canvas. I think they've still got a little bit of a lead, maybe the US. Just less than a canvas, maybe a full canvas now. It's the US, followed by Romania. The US should be world champions here, coming into the last 50 meters, and in fact, are stretching out.
But there are 3 crews for bronze medal. United States first, Romania second, and 3 crews inseparable for the bronze medal. It'll be a photo finish for that 3rd medal.
Great Britain, I think, just across the line.
It's a judgment call, as they say, but I think they got there, and they were on the surge as well.
I think that's great.
And the United States thrilled with that win because it looked so heavily challenged 350 meters out as Romania was charging, but at the last they couldn't hold it on, and the Brits behaving appallingly. Caroline O'Connor standing up and cheering, and she's going to break the boat, and there'll be a deal of trouble if that happens. Congratulations to them for that bronze medal, and that was totally unexpected. It was unexpected even that they would be sure of a place in the final, and we must unfortunately give an unlucky Canada call here, because that is the crew which has not qualified for the Olympic final, and we'll have to go at it all again in the Lucerne regatta, qualifying regatta in June next season. So